All right, so I have here, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the door. It's a green door and it has graffiti on it. So behind the musicians, we're going to do the doors or the door. And I'm going to mix ultramarine blue. This is ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow medium, ultramarine violet, and white. That's what I have here. So I'm going to make a green by mixing ultramarine blue and cadmium yellow medium. That will give me kind of a muted green. So what we want is in certain areas, this door has certain areas you'll see has more blue in it than green. And other areas you'll see more yellow in it. It depends on the light. But from the bottom up, going to be more of the bluish. And it doesn't have to be too dark. You know, this is acrylics, it's going to dry darker. So if we leave it just the way it is, it's going to be too dark. So what I'm going to do for this bottom part, I'm going to take, I mixed ultramarine blue and cadmium yellow medium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of ultramarine violet in it, in this part. Bring in a little bit more blue than yellow, a little bit. And I'm going to take a bit of white with the corner of my brush, touch, put it in. And that will give me, because there's ultramarine violet in it, it's going to give me kind of a grayish blue or grayish green that has a little bit more blue in there. So it doesn't have to, it might not work when I put it on. I mean, when it dries, that's the only time I'm going to find out if it worked. So it's actually to paint. So I think it's a little bit too dark. So I'm going to take a little bit more white. So I'm not putting yellow because I don't want to lose the blue, the bluish. I'm putting, see, that's getting better. It's better. So I'm gonna, a little bit more white because it's going to dry darker. That's better. This color right there, the lighter one, gray light, gray green. By the time it's dry, if I find that it's not dark enough, I can go over and make it darker. Sad. Do you see green in your color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And blue.
Okay.
Yes.
When it dries, if I find that it's not enough dark in here, I can go back and darken it a bit. Okay, let's put this here so I can see what I'm doing, or actually glance on this. All right. This is a very interesting color.
Oh, it's more bluish.
Yes,
Oh. Okay.
But it's a green bluish. Mm.
Blue.
So at this point, I'm going up with my color. I'm going to change a bit. And I'm going to put in a little bit more yellow. Push your yellow inside into this. That's a little bit too dark, too light. Look at the reference. Look where there is dark green and where is light green. This part here is darker behind his head, behind the head of this guy. And the only reason I am trying to to not match, but try to do the same, use the same colors, is that you don't want your whatever you're using as far as colors to be exactly the same everywhere. It's nice to see, in certain areas more blue, certain areas more yellow. Much more interesting. I'm not using here anymore ultramarine violet here. Ultramarine violet was down here.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Now, this is drying, and it's drying gray, like too light. So it's okay. I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll come back to it in a minute once I'm done with the rest. All right. So I mentioned that I'm going to go over this detail, and we'll decide if we want to just simplify it and make it all into a brick, or add that detail. I have a feeling we're going to simplify. All right. I really like this green. I like how, you know, you can add different, change the color a bit from time to time. Okay, let me, I don't want to jump into, let's finish slowly. It's good that the graffiti, we don't know what it says, because if we change a bit when we're painting, it's not going to change. I hope it's not going to change the whole meaning. So I'm going to stop recording and we're going to do the door. But before I stop recording, I'm going to go back to the bottom part. And because it's very kind of a bit too purple, I'm going to go over this with some green and blue. I know the purple is still there. It will show through. It's not going to be covered completely, but it will have a bit of vibrancy.
It'll be darker at the bottom too, won't it, Lil? Because it's at the bottom.
Yeah, it's darker at the bottom. It is.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to stop recording now and we'll continue working on this. All right, so we put green all over. This is a little bit darker. The left part is a little bit darker. And every time I wanted to darken my color, I would add more blue into it and more, a little bit more ultramarine violet. So now I'm going to highlight some areas in here, especially behind this guy who's sitting in the middle. So I'm using a bit more yellowish green. So I'm adding a little bit more yellow into my blue. And I'm just gonna go, and that highlight goes behind the graffiti as well. Or in between the graffiti and or behind it. I missed another spot. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, try to do this. Even if I lose a bit of the graffiti, it doesn't matter. I can put it back. I'm not being very accurate, but kind of. I'm going to kind of glaze this, so I'm adding a little bit more water into my paint. My paint is not that thick. It's more like a glaze. I'm gonna add a little bit more of yellow in here with the blue. Again, make it more like a glaze, not too thick. Okay. Doesn't have to be, 100%, but that's just a bit of highlights in here. And bring in a bit of blue now with my green and slowly change it into more like a bluish green in here. Not change it, but just put a bit of more bluish green. Okay. Let's try to clean this. Okay. That's good. Now, I'm going to pause recording for a minute so we can do this, and then we'll do the graffiti. Right, for the graffiti part, I have already ultramarine violet here, white. This is cadmium orange and yellow ochre. So if you don't have cadmium orange, just mix it. Mix red and yellow. Cadmium red light and cadmium yellow light. Get a nice orange.
Cadmium orange, you said?
Yes, I have cadmium orange and
Yes.
yellow ochre, white, ultramarine violet, not blue, ultramarine violet. That's all we need. So for the graffiti on top here, I'm going to use yellow ochre. I'm sorry, and some of the cadmium yellow medium that we were using. Just mix them in here. That's yellow ochre and cadmium yellow medium. And for the area where it's dark, up here, I'm going to put a bit of ultramarine violet. It will darken my yellow. Actually, it should be darker. So I'm going to take more ultramarine violet. Ah, that's good.
Lael, I'm sorry, can you repeat the colors again?
Sure. It's yellow ochre,
Mhm.
cadmium orange. And
Okay.
I already have white and ultramarine violet. I have it. And cadmium yellow medium, I have that. So the new two colors are just cadmium orange and yellow ochre. So now what I did is I mixed yellow ochre, cadmium yellow medium here. And then I added ultramarine violet to part of it because I'm painting the part that is in the shadow area. Now I'm going to come slowly. So this is dark. This is awesome. This is exactly what I want. I want it to be dark. Now this area, my color is going to start to look lighter. So I'm going to take this part where it's a mixture of yellow ochre and cadmium yellow medium. And it's okay. I need to darken a little bit. So this is too light. So I'm going to add touch of ultramarine violet in here. So here I'm trying to get into the highlighted area, but not, okay, that's a little bit too light. I'm trying to kind of make it medium tone, not too light, not too dark. All right, that's cool. All right, it's not bad. Looks to me like, I'm gonna wait for it to dry, but it looks to me like this part here has a tiny bit of maybe orange in it. No. Ah, right. Let's keep it going. Shouldn't mess with it. Just leave it. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna come back to this and highlight it. Maybe.
I'm confused.
Why?
I'm just, everything looks yellow to me.
In here?
I
This
know
looks
you're using, I know there you used more ultramarine violet,
here.
right?
Yes. Yes. And then here, I'm using, I used, cad, yellow ochre with a bit of ultramarine violet. So less ultramarine violet, more yellow ochre, and cadmium yellow medium. There's still ultramarine violet in here.
So you're not using the orange yet.
No, not yet. No. Not yet.
Okay.
Sorry, I confused you because I added orange in here and it didn't work.
No. It's you didn't do it. I did it on my own. I'm behind. So like I'm listening and I'm trying to catch up
Ah, okay.
because my canvas is bigger, right?
Oh, yes, yes. So all of this here is yellow ochre. And actually, I'm getting to kind of using yellow ochre and less, and no cadmium yellow medium. Have a glance at your reference, and you'll see. You see the change of color. I'm not trying to do exactly what I'm seeing in there, but these little kind of variation in color are nice. I'm gonna let it dry and see if I need to go darker, more orange in there. I have a feeling we need to put a bit of more orange in here, a bit of orange. So I have a feeling we should take yellow ochre, put some orange in it, in my yellow ochre, and paint this one here with a bit of more orange. Yep. I'm moving to orange. You want me to stop for a minute?
I don't know. Yes, it's a little bit fast, but
Okay. I'll just do the dark orange on the left-hand side, only the dark orange here, and then I'll stop. So I'm mixing cadmium orange with ultramarine violet. Okay, it needs more ultramarine violet. Yeah, that's better. There. It's really dark, which is it's supposed to be dark like this. All right, so what you see here right now, it looks a bit too light, and it's not, it's muted. It's an orange that has ultramarine violet in it. Not too much, but enough to tone it down. And all I'm going to do is just put the first layer. Eventually, we're going to put a tiny bit of red, but not now, in the orange. Now we're just kind of putting the main layer, first layer. And of course, because it's graffiti, it doesn't have to be perfect. Some of these are going, some parts are going to be highlighted eventually, and some parts are going to have, I'm going to have to add a bit of red in my orange. I think there's something here happening, so I'm going to just, behind that little poster that we removed, or paper. So I'm going to do that. I think it's connected to this. Three dots. 2 dots here. And 3 here.
Very nice.
I need to let it dry so I can put another layer. There's tiny bit of more red in this orange. So next time we're going to put red, orange red, and maybe a bit of ultramarine violet in certain areas. But that's in, and the orange in there is like, there's a variation of orange. There's a light orange, dark orange, more reddish orange in here in some areas. I like this. I really like the colors. Okay. So this is just for this week. Next week we'll continue working on the door.